And to understand the United States of America, I believe we have to understand the blessings of God. I don't believe there's an
right, that was Peach Blush with Tear Here off of their latest release. What's up, y'all? I am your host for the first hour of this show we do every Monday right here on KBF 88.3 FM. Voice of the People. Name of the show is Tomorrow's Dream. My name is Baker, and I will be rocking you out from now till 1 o'clock, and then we'll get Chad up in here. His birthday boy. Everybody, make sure you hop over to Chad's Facebook, or he'll give him a call. They're in studio and blow up the phone, bug the hell out of him. He's going to be playing, I just saw a post, he's going to play like every band he's ever been in today, so stick around. We have some awesome old school stuff. I'm going to try to squeeze in all of the bands that are playing this week, all the ones I can find anyway. Those last two you can catch today. Show going on over at Whitewater Tavern. Pearl Earl is coming through from where I'm not 100% sure, but it's some psych gaze, groovy stuff. You definitely want to go check them out. Peach Blush and Stressor, also Meditation. I believe all locals there. Haven't been able to find anything on Meditation. You can imagine when you try to type that in to, Spotify or Bandcamp or anything, it's like, oh, here's a chill playlist of, easy listening dubstep or whatever. So if anybody knows the band Meditation, can link me into some of their stuff, that would be awesomely appreciated. We'll get it on here. It might be a new band. They may not have anything recorded yet. That's really the only thing I can find going on during these, weekdays. Happy birthday, Chad. You just roll in over here. I'm getting set up. But we do got a bunch going on this weekend. Here's one Friday going on at Vino's. We're going to play some Dryer Fire up next. We'll do one from them called Lynch the Governor. Fantastic. Listen closely. And then a few touring bands, I believe. I think they were the only local on this one. I'm going to absolutely mispronounce this. Heracleon, I believe. Heracleon. It's from New Orleans. Coming up, we'll play some of them next, and then something from Direct Measure, and also Rig Time. Go check that out over Vino's Friday. And we'll come back after those and tell you about another one going Friday, a couple Saturday, and a few things Sunday. So big weekend. Get ready for it. But here is it's a live recording. I think it's the only thing we got so far. It's a new band, but it's good stuff. Check it out. Here's a Dryer Fire with Lynch the Governor.
Hey, what's up? We're Dryer Fire. We're from Little Rock. Thank you. Woo! All right, this is Lynch.
Politicians or global economics. I did a series of sermons.
Oh, yes. No, not you. Hold on. That was rig time! Exclamation point at the end with Ouroboros. A little short one from them. We got trying to keep it short today, but that was just a little taste of what you can hear. When was that? Friday at Vino's. It was rig time, direct measure, Heracleon, and local Dryer Fire. The last 4 bands here. That's going down Friday at Vino's. There's another one. Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta hop over a different app here. Anyway, all right. Dryer Fire. What else we got? We got one going down Friday at, what was it? I think it was Stickies. I'm gonna double check that and get right back to you. But yeah, Friday at Stickies, you can catch Josh the Devil and Sinners with Colin versus Adam. Always a good show. Let's do a couple from those cats, and then we'll tell you about all the stuff going on. I lied earlier. I only have one thing Saturday, and it's not even actually a show. But we'll tell you about it anyway, because it's going to be cool. And then a bunch of stuff Sunday. We'll play all of it. You know how we do. Name of the show's Tomorrow's Dream. I'm Baker. Chad's with you in 35 minutes. And here's Josh and the Devil and the Sinners with Into the Halls. KBF. Tomorrow's Dream.
Once is using world missionary evangelism to meet physical and spiritual needs. Listen to the World Missionary Evangelism broadcast Monday through Friday on this station.
As the earth travels, stand firm in the knowledge that God is our refuge and strength.
Oh, you's a blood sucker!
That was Colin versus Adam with Bloodsucker. And before that, you heard Josh the Devil and Sinners Into the Halls. You can catch them at Stickies this Friday, 8:30. Alright, so we told you about the other one Friday over at Vino's, Rig Time Direct Measure, Heracleon, and Dryer Fire, all of which you heard previously. And then today, don't forget about Whitewater. Catch Meditation, Stressor, Peach Blush, and Pearl Whirl. Man, that ain't a tongue twister of a flyer there. That one's going down today at Whitewater, yeah. Alright, Saturday, the only thing I guess I have here is a dope merch swap going over at Vino's. They still got some spots open, so email Bitterfest, that's BITR fest at gmail.com, Bane and the Rock Fest, you know. Email them if you want to. I don't know for sure if this is like that bring all of your own t-shirts out of your closet and swap them with other people for their t-shirts out of their closet, or if this is a bunch of bands selling you their stuff. It's probably both. I did get a message though, I think, about some Terminal Nation merch maybe that's trying to be prepared for it. So there's my voice. I was looking for it the whole time. Alright, yeah, there'll be all kinds of cool stuff. You definitely want to get there. Check it out. Saturday, Vino's 5 p.m. I think is when that... No, I'm sorry, noon p.m. is when that one's kicking off. Noon till 5. At Vino's Saturday. Get there for the merch swap. Alright, a few things Sunday. I'll tell you about one and then we're going to play the bands on it. Up in Chord, everybody, if you don't know by now, you need to know about the Heathen House. Heath is bringing just some of the most brutal acts Arkansas has ever seen, bands we never would have gotten before, through at his place up in Cord, and he's done really amazing things with the land out there. It's set up very well for camping. If you're into that, you can bring your stuff, camp out. There's an awesome treehouse deck, and just, yeah, come check it out. 8649 Cord Road in Cord, Arkansas. Sunday, 4:15 in advance or 20 at the door. You can come catch Severe Head Wound and Pantheon opening up for a toll. Here is all three of those right now. Let's kick it off with Severe Head Wound, Kill of Rights. KBF Tomorrow's Dream, Voice of the People.
The walls raised from the high point that was Jerusalem to protect it from an enemy that was
was Atoll with The Simmering. Catch them, catch all the last three bands you heard, Pantheon and Severe Head Wound. I'm doing double duty once again. Catch all of us this Sunday at the Backyard Bludgeoning Volume 2 up in Cord, Arkansas, 8649 Cord Road, the Heathen House. $20 at the door, get you in. Or here in Little Rock, come over to Vino's and get your Heavy Hits Presents show. The Little Rock version, of course. Samantha bringing it hard here with Autumn Lies Buried. We got some of them coming up for you in just a sec. Right after this Dawn of Ascension, we'll do the new one from them called Haunted, and then Dead to Rights. I got lined up from Autumn Lies Buried. You can also catch Mac Lewis, who I dug through this morning and tried to find like a single track that I could play, and just I can't do it. Too many curse words there, Mac. We do appreciate your rhymes, but I just can't link them up here on the air. Sorry about that. Go check them out though. It's good stuff. That's going on Sunday at Vino's for $10. 6:30 doors on that one. Here's Dawn of Ascension's latest with Haunted.
The salvation of God that has come by this spring coming up within the city now, because they have at the Feast of Tabernacles a week of celebration every year in which they
I want to be set free. I want to be
Usurp with Fire in a Vacuum. You can catch them and this band right here, Tranquilo, along with Tarp and Bog from Denton, Texas. We'll do some Bog up next. Catch them all Sunday at Dedicated. So we're on MacArthur, North Little Rock, Dedicated Art Studio. We'll try to squeeze in some Shark Week too from Benadryl if we got time here. The Discovery app sucks, but if you got Max, they're playing it over there too.
As humans, we love to...
Wait! This is KABF 88.3 FM in Little Rock, the voice of the people for all of Arkansas.
This is Ray Bradford with the Daily Voice of the People News Bulletin. Private health insurance companies paid by Medicaid denied millions of requests for care for low-income Americans with little oversight from federal and state authorities, according to a new report by U.S. investigators. Sound of Freedom, a conservative film about child predators, was the most watched film in North America recently, behind only the latest Mission Impossible. Official data from China indicates that as many people may have died from COVID in a single province earlier this year than what Beijing said died in the mainland during the entire pandemic. U.S. has barred 14 Iraqi banks from dollar transactions, cracking down on siphoning of U.S. currency to Iran and other sanctioned countries. USDA's second-in-command resigned amid reporting that he once consulted for a distributor punished for a deluge of suspect painkiller shipments and did similar work for the drug maker Purdue Pharma, the poster child of the opioid crisis. New York City has agreed to pay more than $13 million to settle a civil rights lawsuit brought on behalf of roughly 1,300 people who were arrested or beaten by police during racial injustice demonstrations that swept the summer of 2020. Black, white immigrant miners in the mine wars of the 1920s on Blair Mountain, West Virginia, who were called the Redneck Army, so named for the red bandanas they wore, mounted the largest working-class uprising in U.S. history and the largest armed insurrection since the Civil War. A partnership between Ford Motor and a major Chinese battery maker is facing scrutiny by Republican lawmakers who said it could make an American automaker reliant on a company with links to forced labor in China's far western region. Daniel Snyder will pay the NFL $60 million in restitution after their investigation found that he sexually harassed a female employee and improperly withheld revenue he owed for the Washington Commanders. Missouri Supreme Court ruled against the state attorney general's position on an abortion ballot initiative, a decision that allows the ballot initiative to restore abortion rights to move forward. Voice of the People Daily Bulletin presents people's news about action and issues that demand action. This is Wade Rathke, and this bulletin is brought to you thanks to Acorn International, United Labor Unions Local 100, Social Policy Magazine, and the affiliated Media Foundation Movement, AM/FM.
Welcome to Isla Earth. The Soap and Detergent Association is cleaning up its act. A recent conference that included officials from the Consumer Product Safety Commission, Environmental Protection Agency, and Federal Trade Commission provided industry leaders with information about the latest and greenest cleaning products. Representing manufacturers for more than 90% of the cleaning products sold in the United States, the association says it is committed to enhancing health and the quality of life through cleaning products and practices. This includes a commitment to reducing the environmental impact of cleaning products without sacrificing effectiveness. You can get in the act too by switching to environmentally friendly cleaning products. But with so many products claiming to be green, you'll have to be careful which ones you choose. Here are a few tips from EcoMall and Care2. Make sure products are biodegradable and non-toxic. Select products that are concentrated and will work in cold water. Purchase products sold in recycled, recyclable, and refillable containers. Avoid products derived from petroleum or containing chlorine bleach. By carefully selecting the products you use, you can make sure your home stays clean and green. Review our Clean Green Guidelines at islaearth.org. Isla Earth is produced by the Catalina Island Conservancy through its Fund for a Sustainable Planet, because Earth is an island.
Some of the heads of the beasts can be...
by Dr.
All right, man.
Before you buy $1 million view like this, create a faceless.
Well, the YouTube got a little away from me there for a second. Yeah, so this is tomorrow's stream on AABF, and this is Chad. And it just so happens that today is my birthday. That's right. Now, how often is it going to be that it's my birthday and I'm on the radio? That's crazy. Now, anybody who knows me will tell you that I'm not a very narcissistic person or anything, but I am going to make today's show all about me. And I'm going to play every band that I ever played in. The ones that actually stayed together long enough to play a show and go to the studio. Yeah. From any churches, I have not. And that first song was by Hands of Filth. I did get to be in that band for a short time back in the day. They were like one of my favorite bands back then. It's like the early 90s. Hands of Filth and Six Shine and Lolly Gadget were among my absolute favorites. And lucky for me, I got to work with, a couple of those bands really in a way. And so yeah, that was a song that I really enjoyed playing with them live. That Hands of Filth song, I like playing that one. I was pretty ornery when I was in a band. They were like, "Here, play this new stuff," and I was like, "No, I want to play my favorite songs," and they kicked me out. So, but that's another story. When I was in Hands of Filth, I actually suggested one day, why don't we just have two bass guitars and me not play guitar because I'm better at playing bass. And they didn't really jump on it right away. They had to think about it. And then they came back. I said, "Yeah, that's a good idea." And I said, "No, I think I'll stay on guitar." And I got kicked out. So then after that, there were just two basses. And then the girl singer, Susan, she quit because she had hearing problems, like serious hearing problems. And that turned into crankbass. So, yeah, I'll take credit for that, of course. I was the guy that said that. I was the one that said, let's just do two bass guitars. And they're still doing it to this day. So, there you go. Here is a song. I only have one of the 4 songs I wrote and recorded with them, and we didn't go to the studio. This is just like in the practice room, and it doesn't have vocals on it. But I think it's pretty cool, so I'm going to play it for you anyway. I just call the song Incomplete. there you go, man. That's what that was. And let's see, get past this commercial on YouTube. There we go. Okay, so that was about 1993 that I was in the band Hands of Filth, and that was my first time playing in a band that was not a cover band. It was just all original songs, you know, wrote their own songs and all that. And we had a lot of really good bands back then, and then that is when I first started going out and seeing live shows. And we have a lot of really good bands now too, and all the time in between, of course, man. We got a lot of talent around here. I mean, we really do. And that was freaking awesome for me. I just had such a good time with that. I played one show with Hands of Filth at a place called The Dungeon, which was underneath Main Street Bar and Grill. And man, it would make me so happy if somebody popped up one day and had a video of that and that I didn't know about. That would be so awesome. I was talking to Rocky Gray recently, and he was saying that he has a Six Shine video of a show at the Dungeon from when he was in the band. And I keep bugging the guy, please put it up on YouTube or send it to me and I'll post it, do something. I know people will lose their mind over that. And got me thinking, man, I wish I had like a lot of people out there that had videos of bands from that time period at this place called The Dungeon, because it was such a cool place to hang out and watch bands play. I would make a YouTube page and call it The Dungeon and just put the shows on there. I think it would be cool as hell. Let's see. So the next thing that happened for me, let's see, was Elijah Steiner, which was life-changing. My life has never been the same. And it happened because I was living in an apartment. So I couldn't play my drums in my apartment. And I just started playing with the drums. So I had to set them up in a storage shed out on Redmond Road in Jacksonville. Nowadays, there's a fence around it and everything, but back then, people could just walk up and you'd be in there, you know, jamming. And it ended up, there's quite a few bands that would play and practice in those storage sheds. Six Shine was one of them. Flesh Compressor, or Pain God is really the same band, was out there. Shredded Corpse was out there. And Law Gadget had broken up, and they were out there trying something new with different band members. And at first, they had the singer and guitar player from Chalice, Columbus and Jeff. And then, let's see what happened. At one point, they had a guitar player, and the drummer didn't really want to be in a band with him, so he quit coming to band practice. And I was over there. I went over there. I'd go over there and watch him practice. I'd be like, oh man, this is awesome. I get to watch these guys practice. And I went over there one day, and I was like, hey, Greg, maybe you just need to have two bass guitars in the band. And he looked at me and said, you know what, let's try it. So we did. We had one band practice where it was just two basses and no guitars. And then our drummer was like, well, let's bring back that other guy that tried out and see how it goes now, because this sounds different. And he brought the other guitar player back. And that's how Elijah Steiner was born, in a middle storage shed in Jacksonville. And this band ended up drawing the attention of Interscope Records in the 90s. Some of you know how significant that is. And we didn't get to do that because we had signed a deal with a small label. Carla J and R guy that still lived with his parents was trying to start his own label called Rude Records, and he signed us and some other bands. And when Interscope tried to pick us up, I talked to this guy on the phone, and he said, well, I want to make all the money. I don't want to get a small slice of the pie. I want to break you guys myself. So that's why we're not doing the Interscope deal. Oh my God, are you serious? So that's what happened to Elijah Steiner. This band should have been huge, but greed got in the way. And I'm going to play some of that now.
lays over the lines. This is what I deserve. Baby, you're what I deserve.
That was off our CD that we made ourselves when we had a record deal and we did something we weren't supposed to do. We made our own CD and I had like 1,000 of them made, and that was that CD. And that band, that lineup, did actually do a couple of tours. We went like north and west and came back around, made a big circle and came back. And that was a lot of fun. I would take people's names and addresses down whenever we played somewhere, and there was like 3 to 5 people there. And I would mail out flyers. And the second time we went out, things were going a lot better. And the drummer spoke up one day and said, "Hey man, we can just stay on the road." And then our guitar player quit without telling anybody. We just went out there to the trailer in the van after drinking our beers that we get for playing there at whatever place. It was Oklahoma City, actually. And his girlfriend had drove up to spend time with him because it was the closest point on tour. And all of his stuff was gone. He had quit the band without saying anything to anybody. He just quit and was gone. So we went back home, picked up another guitar player, a guy we knew, Jeff, who had been in the band Chalice with Rocky and all that business, man. And he's an awesome guitar player. And it was a lot heavier. I really liked this lineup. I always wanted it to be a heavier band anyway, and I wasn't happy with the other guy. So here's what some of that sounded like. hey, I'm going to go ahead and skip around a little bit because I got a lot of stuff here, and I don't think I'm going to have time to play like all the way through all the songs. So anyway, so the second lineup of Elijah Steiner, that's the lineup that, you know, the album actually came out in like 1,200 stores back in the day when people would go to the store and buy a CD or a cassette. And we actually had cassettes and CDs made that we didn't have to make ourselves. That's the only time that has happened for me. And, yeah, but then we had an issue with, there was a girl that was dating one person, and Elijah Steiner, and had been with him for over a year, I guess, or something like that. It might have been longer than that. And we had a situation where she decided to switch from one guy in the band to another guy in the band. And that kind of messed all that up, and we ended up going forward, or, you know, with another third different guitar player. His name's Trey Talbert. He was in Lonely Gadget, so, and they didn't actually get an album out. They ended up breaking up at some point. But yeah, so let's see. By 98, see, that what you just heard was in 97. By 1998, I was in a band with Dennis again, and we had a band called Heavy Sun, and it was pretty doggone awesome. And here's some of that. Okay, that's so that was there was a 3-song CD that we made, and that was the first song off of it, and we recorded that at Blue Chair Studios back in December of '98. Now, so that band was me and Dennis from Elijah Steiner, and then we had Tim Brosnowski on the other guitar, and he wrote some of the most awesome riffs ever played around here. And we had this drummer that was really awesome, Matt Shook, and that guy literally broke his leg at work or something, I don't know. And then said, you know, I got personal stuff I need to take care of anyway, I'm just going to bow out, you know, yeah, we're going to go on without me or whatever. And I ended up switching over to the drums. And we got someone to play bass. Actually, it was Jeff that was in Elijah Steiner. I said, well, we don't need another guitar player, but we need a bass player. And he wanted to be in the band, so he played bass. It was the only time he ever did that. And he was really good at it. And this is some of that. We ended up calling the band Sinfected, because this band was wanted by Island Records. And they told us not to call the band Heavy Sign. They're like, dude, come on, Black Hole Sign, you know, don't do that. Just, you got this song called Sinfected that's really cool. Y'all should call the band that. So we were like, okay, sure, you know. So we changed the name, and then I've talked about this before on the radio. I had a 4-year-old daughter. Dennis had a 3-year-old son. And they were telling us that they were going to put us on the road for 2 years, and neither one of us wanted to just disappear out of our kids' life. When they're that age, it's just so amazing watching them do something new every week, and you're just amazed that you made a person, and you just don't want to disappear for 2 years. So I was kind of messy, but we stayed together long enough to record some stuff. We made a whole other CD with Jason Tedford, and this is some of that.
We also have a Wednesday evening Bible study that begins at 7 p.m. Now you can hear us on our radio program, Apologetic Cafe, broadcast every Tuesday evening from 7 to 7.
Okay, that was a song called My Thin Ice. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? You'll notice that was a pretty complicated, long song with a lot of parts and a lot of weird changes and everything. And that was something that we always wanted to do. But the drummer that we had before, he would get irritated and pissed off at us because he didn't want that. And so I was kind of glad that I ended up being able to take over the drums and for us to be able to fully pursue being as out there and just weird as we wanted to be. And that's one of our finer songs for sure. I wasn't always playing in a metal band or whatever. I was also in a band at the same time as with Heavy Sun and all that. I was also in this band called Fire in a Treehouse, which was kind of like a rap band kind of thing with Jason Harrington, the Mad Trucker. And I'm going to play you some of that right here. It's a band called Fire in a Treehouse, a song called Resistance.
Of its own, like exorcism from the sheet energy deep in my sternum. Describe it just like a gas leak. Why try to burn them? We're taking this far beyond getting pissed. Transcendental, cause murder don't even exist. One bullet can turn a rider into a hearse. We got the coincides, shit is adverse. With pessimism, the cup is half empty full. While the treehouse is a woman with gravitational pull and magnetism. Hot hook through a prism. A satellite correspondence in deep space nothingness. I'm not alive, but I'm not dead. My system shut off. No one heard what I said. I'm not alive, but I'm not dead. My system shut off. No one heard what I said.
Some of that project. Had a lot of fun playing shows with those guys, man. That was awesome. Whenever I thought we were going to do the Island Records deal with the other band, I quit that band, and I wish I never did, because that was so much fun. And the video with a couple of songs is on my Fingers of Damnation YouTube page, if you want to check it out. Let's see. So after I wasn't in those bands anymore, around 2004, me and Jeff formed, man, we had like two other bands that didn't stay together long enough to do a show, but this one is one that we had for about almost a year, I think. And before Jeff quit one day, because him and the drummer just didn't see eye to eye. But I thought this stuff was pretty awesome, man. We had such a good time playing live shows. A band called Scar Season. And yeah, this is also on my YouTube page if you want to check it out. And the only, I guess, bragging rights I have for this band is that we did open for Trivium at Vino's around, I don't know if it was 2004 or 2005, but it was one of those, because that's when we were a band. My memory's not that great, but that was fun. And I got to play on their equipment, plug my bass into that, and people were like, hey, we could hear your bass in the street in front of Vino's, because I play with my fingers and I tap kind of hard. So everybody was hearing it, and I'm so happy about that. I've never been that loud any other time. So here's some of that stuff right here. This is a song called Truckers Love It.
We've loved so many other things other than him. We haven't loved it in our heart so much as this band. We spend the balance of our life trying to
All right, I'm going to keep it moving because, like I said, there's so many things on here. I don't know if I'm going to get them all in there. It's already 1:42. All right, so that band was 2004, 2005. Okay, right. From 2006 to 2008, I was in a couple of bands, playing drums in one band, bass in another band. And one of them was called Witch's Tit. And I was playing with Tim Braslavsky again, and then had Josh on the vocals, and Red on the bass. Originally started out with Dana Cash on bass, Dennis's brother actually, and I actually do have a show and recordings with him on bass too, so that's pretty cool. And we also had this guy Mike on the guitar towards the very end, and here I'm going to play some of that for you right now.
As the one who has promised.
You know what? I'm going to try to skip forward to something a little more upbeat because that's like one of our slowest songs, and we did a lot of different things. Let's see what we got here.
Let's acknowledge again that to is to each person.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's some super groovy stuff. That's on my YouTube channel as well. Everything I'm playing on here, I'm actually playing stuff off of my YouTube channel. Now, also, like I said, I was in a band called Power Bastard where I was playing the bass, and also had Jeff on guitar again here, and Riley on the drums, and Shane on guitar. He ended up getting in a fight with somebody, and he was winning, so they pulled a gun and they killed him. And so rest in power. And CT from Wake on the lead vocals. And this is the band where Wake had, gotten their deal with Relapse Records. And they told him, hey, if you have a side project, we'll possibly sign that too. So we put this band together, and him and Jeff had been talking about doing this for a couple of years. It wasn't like we threw it together just because of that. They had been talking for a long time, and we put this band together and got some songs together, and then Relapse said, no, we didn't mean form another band with the same lead singer. That's not what we were, that's like a conflict of interest or something. And I wish it didn't feel that way, because this sounds absolutely nothing like Wake, even though this first song is kind of slow. So anyway, here and play some of that.
Suppress this into shit. The mind is always rest. A rebel, a force comes into me like a war between the skull and creed. The water is watching over me. As they
Okay, now, man, I wish I had more time. I'm running out of time, you guys. So, 2008, the economy crashed, and I was the guy that did kitchen remodels, remeditions, that kind of work came to a screeching halt. And I went and got a job fracking, working with those guys, working 100 hours a week or whatever, and I had to quit both bands and take care of my new wife and new baby situation at that time. So then in the 2010s, I had a couple of things going on. This was on something that was released by the Mad Trucker around 2013. I recorded it a little before that, but it was in the 2010s. And some of that stuff.
They came for acid and lush in the mainframe, crush a tame gang, where them things hang in a big balls game, y'all all can't brush off, paint the palette with a knife. It might take a life to get right for the picking up a guitar Picasso, bro slow, Leon Redbone in a redwood home, so collecting chops and running, the constant slime is coming, Arnold I hear drumming, on the tried far away, the strokes his hair sways, arrows ricochet, Walker in the lucid fray, up against the grain and leaning, on the running quest for meaning, with big fronts tucked in the semen of the stitch lakes.
Anyway, that is me on bass. I did do like 4 songs, and they're all on my YouTube channel. Now, around 2014 to 2016, I had this other band, and we couldn't make up our minds on a name for the band, and we had a show lined up, and then it got canceled, and then I quit because we were like an instrumental metal band, and I wanted to do vocals, and one of the guys didn't really want me to do vocals, and so I quit and said I'll go do my own thing, you know. But it sounded pretty awesome, man. I mean, we had the drummer from Strangest Fiction, had Jeff and Kyle from Power Bastard. Kyle replaced the guy that got killed, and and at first we had Dennis on vocals, but he moved to Fayetteville. He just moved back on Friday because we're working on Wally Guy's stuff now. And that may not be the only reason, but I'm glad he's back. And I'll play you some of this stuff that has never been released to the public. How come I'm not hearing anything? Oh, that's why. You get the idea. I'm sorry that's not going to have better volume on it. I need to work on that. Okay, so winding down. I got like 10 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and play you. So that's my 2010s, that Mad Trucker stuff, and then that band. And like I said, we couldn't come up with a name. At one point, we called the band Stabbed with a Gun. And then I noticed that the initials would be SWAG. The guys didn't like that, so they were like, no, we're not calling the band SWAG. And at one point, the band was called Helene. And at the end, we were calling it Metal AF. And yeah. And then our show we were going to do with Iron Tongue got canceled because the bass player was out of town, and so we came that close to playing a show. But it was a lot of fun, man. It was awesome. I had a good time having the guys come over and jam out every week. And on my Facebook, I got the video. I need to put that video on the YouTube channel. That's what I need to do. And then in 2020, I started going to Wolfman Studios and recording my Dreams of Death solo project. I went back to doing that. The first time I recorded a Dreams of Death CD and I did a few little recordings was in 1994. And then I did it again in 97. I made a couple of different tapes. And then in 2003, I made a CD with like 3 songs on it and passed it out to people when I was hanging out at Downtown Music on Capitol Street in Little Rock, which is one of the most awesome places I ever hung out at, in my life. A lot of good friends, a lot of good memories made there, a lot of good things I can't remember. Yeah. And so I passed out these CDs to people for free because I didn't have a band or anything, so I was on the way to get it out. So I did that, and this is a song called Intimidating Mirrors that I recorded.
Who are deeply impacted by the teaching they hear on this program.
And that's what that sounds like. I really am proud of that one. And I also did a song for the Black Sabbath compilation cassette that's about to be released anytime now. And I think it's on Tape Dad or something. And I did Behind the Wall of Sleep. And I had to slow the song down to be able to play the solo because there are parts of that guitar solo that go so fast you can't even understand what the heck he's doing. But in my version, you get to appreciate every nuance because I slowed it down. So here you go. We're going to finish out the hour on this. And as far as what I'm doing right now, still work on my own stuff, but Lala Gadget is kind of getting back together in a way. I got both guitar players and a singer, and I've just been informed recently that I have to learn all 18 of their songs on the drums. So I'm busy with that, and we're working on new songs. But this is probably the most recent thing that I've completed in the studio, so check it out.
We need to
Okay, let's see. That's about it for today, guys. Yeah, and we do have a couple of new Lolly Gadget songs that are just guitar and drums at this point. But I was told not to share anything until we had a completed song, so I can't play you that. But that's all for today, and we'll be back next Monday at 12 noon, from 12 to 2. The show is called Tomorrow's Dream, and we'll see you next week. And that's it for now. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah, let's see if I can get this one right.
Those labels actually should be labeled the Fraud Party. Today on Hightower's Radio Lowdown. As John Mellencamp sings, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. True, and it's equally true that if you stand for everything, you won't amount to anything. In a remarkable achievement, a newly formed political party calling itself No Labels has managed to fall into both traps, standing up for everything and nothing at all. The fledgling entity is using every synonym in the book to assure everyone that it is a middle-of-the-road bipartisan centrist, both sides party, offering hybrid liberal-conservative solutions that won't offend anyone. But wait, they've chosen a multimillionaire coal baron and a multimillionaire son of a global plastics polluter to be their standard bearers. As a presidential ticket, Democrat Joe Manchin and Republican John Huntsman probably would unite voters of both parties against them. While they don't stand for much, there is one huge overriding issue that the No Labels hucksters strongly agree on: corporate money contaminating American politics. These, quote, reformers are in favor of it. Indeed, secret fat cat donations are the No Labelers' financial lifeline, having already hauled in hundreds of thousands of dollars from right-wing corporate interests. Such as, no, say the founders, we can't tell you who's buying the No Labels label, for the funders don't want the public to know their names or their special interests. Of course, secret funding of elections equals secret government of, by and far, the funders. By standing against the people's right to know, the group has put a flaming neon fraud label on their hokey reform party. Huntsman even admits it, saying financial disclosure would be the right thing to do, but, quote, that's not the way you play the game. This is Jim Hightower saying, the game? Just what we need. Another gang of corporate politicos who think governing America is a game to be won by hook or crook. The Hightower Radio Lowdown is made possible by you subscribers to Jim Hightower's Lowdown on Substack. Find us at jimhightower.substack.com.
94216. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Hey, it's Monday, it's 2 o'clock, and so you know what time it is. It's time for the Truth and Justice Show with your host, Larry Westmoreland. I hope everybody's having a great Monday so far. I hope you had a great weekend. And we're going to get right into the show with Mr. Westmoreland, whose guest is at-large City Director John Acott. Good afternoon, John. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Glad to have you on the Truth and Justice Show. So, Mr. Westmoreland.
Yes, Ms. Acott, I want to thank you for being on the show. I remember years ago when you started out, you were the voice of...
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
I remember years ago. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but you're very muffled.
Oh, it is? Is that any better? Is that better, Ms. Acott?
Poetries of God's victories, God's triumphs over the enemy.
Well, how about that?
That's better.
Okay, good. I remember years ago when you were known as the voice of Southwest Little Rock. And would you do the listeners a favor by telling us a little bit about your background and what inspired you to get into politics?
I'm sorry, you are coming in and out. I don't know if it's my phone or you.
Well, tell us about your experience being...
Okay, I'm a Little Rock City Director. I have been elected 31 years. I live in Southwest Little Rock. In fact, I live at 6808 Mableville Pike, and I have lived at my house in Southwest Little Rock for 64 years.
The Psalms of David in particular are written during different
Okay.
The thing I enjoy most about my job
different
is helping people.
experiences.
Right, right. Well, I want to compliment you on the fine work that you've done for the citizens of Little Rock. I wanted to ask you a question. What inspired you to actually to get into civic or politics? Who was your?
Director?
Yes.
Okay, I was in business in Southwest Mall. I had a children's clothing store there, and I was in business. And in Southwest Little Rock at that time, we had come into the city, and we were promised a whole bunch of stuff when we came into the city of Little Rock. We woke up one morning, and the judge at that time was Buddy Verlanen, and he had signed the papers to annex Southwest Little Rock into the city. And so we were promised streets, we were promised drainage, and all kinds of stuff. And by that time, we had not received things that we had been promised. We had only had two people, which were Sharon Priest and Mr. Lincoln, that had been elected from Southwest Little Rock. And I felt like the Southwest needed more of a voice, and we needed to be, if we was going to be part of the city, that we needed to be treated like the rest of the city. And so I decided to run for the city board. My race had 11 people in it, and a attorney from West Little Rock was supposed to win that race. But one thing they wasn't counting on was the people of Southwest Little Rock, and that I had had the children's clothing store long enough that a lot of people throughout Little Rock knew me, and I was elected.
Oh, that's great. That's a great story. Another question.
Last week, I was at the Yorkwood neighborhood meeting, and they're still having the same problems with the drainage ditch that I was one of the reasons that I was elected. And so I'm hoping this year that we can get some help with that drainage ditch behind Yorkwood.
Okay. Do you, as a director, see any future annexation for the city of Little Rock and any other areas around?
Do I see any what?
Any future annexation of properties to the city and the surrounding area?
Last month we added a couple of little areas on out in Ward 6 that had come before us. We did a lot of areas out in West Little Rock that want to be annexed to the city. People who come to the city for water and sewer have to annex, if they are in the county, they have to annex to Little Rock to be part of our water and sewer. So from time to time, we get some areas. A couple years ago, they was going to look at some areas even out on the street. We did take some areas out there into the city, but they was going to look at other areas. But mainly, you have development. When you have development out in the county, to get our water and to get our sewer, they have to annex to the city.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the tornado that hit Little Rock during the spring. The city, there was a lot of help from the city. Would you explain some of the programs?
I'm sorry, I can't understand what you're saying.
Some of the programs for the tornado victims this spring?
Okay, the March 31st tornado?
Yes.
We are still having problems with that, and what has happened a couple times, they have set a date to a final date to pick up the debris. But I was out there this last week. There is still a lot of places in West Little Rock, even all the way up to some of Ward 3 that still has tornado damage. And until the people can get their insurance to decide, what to be done, because you and I both know that insurance companies want everything left until they can come out and look. And some of the insurance companies have not made final payments yet. So I think until the people have everything hauled off that they need, I don't think we need to be telling people, hey, we're going to start charging for everything that we pick up. Because lots of people just going through their stuff now. You can imagine losing everything that you had, or I think probably losing everything, nothing there. But to the people that lost their births and things of that nature, it's just going to take some time. And I agree with Director Kathy Peck. I think that we should wait and see how it's going and everything before we start making those decisions.
Okay. Well, my heart and prayers goes out to those people who are still suffering out there through the damage. But there's also seemed like in parts of Little Rock there's a lot of growth. We see Amazon has come to town, bringing a lot of jobs. So is the city doing a lot to bring more jobs to the city?
I'm sorry, you asked something about bringing more jobs to the city, and what was that?
Yes, Amazon has brought new jobs to the city. Do you see any other?
Jobs to the city.
Right, jobs to the city. Would you comment on
I
that?
think probably